Angel Reese put her hand on Caitlin Clark's neck in front of two officials. No whistle. No foul. No free throws. Nothing showed up on that scoreboard at all. And Clark's response? She got up, dusted herself off, went back down the floor, and turned in one of the best all-around nights of her career, 26 points, 9 assists, in a game that went all the way to overtime and ended with Angel Reese missing the layup that could have won it, while Caitlin Clark stood a few feet away, laughing. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the Indiana Fever had walked out of State Farm Arena with a 95-91 overtime win, a 4-game winning streak, and a full slate of storylines that lit up social media for days. Stick around, because we're breaking down exactly what happened on that neck-grab no-call, how this game swung in the fourth quarter and overtime, what the box score actually says about who carried this team, and what Angel Reese was reportedly furious about after the final buzzer, even though her team had the ball with a chance to win it. If you like deep, honest breakdowns of the biggest moments in the WNBA, hit subscribe, because we're not slowing down. Let's start with the play that had the entire internet talking before the game was even over. It happened early, with a little over 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Rhyne Howard put up a shot for Atlanta that didn't fall, and both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark converged on the rebound. As Clark fought for position, video clips that circulated afterward appeared to show Reese making contact with Clark's neck and shoving her away. Clark spun around immediately, looking for the whistle. It never came. Indiana called a timeout. Clark walked over to an official and gestured toward her neck, clearly asking for the play to be looked at. According to multiple reports, she seemed to ask for a review. The officials chose not to go to the monitor. Play resumed like nothing had happened. Now, to be fair to the officiating crew, live speed contact under the basket is genuinely hard to officiate cleanly, and reasonable people can disagree on intent versus incidental contact in real time. But once the clip started circulating online, WNBA fans didn't hold back. It stacked up quickly as one of the most talked about non-calls of the season, with fans pointing out that this wasn't the first time this exact type of contact, hand near the throat, no whistle, had gone unaddressed involving Clark this year. Some pointed back to a separate incident from earlier in the season involving a different opponent to argue there's a pattern worth the league's attention. Here's the thing that made it land differently, though. Clark didn't complain for the rest of the game. No extra chirping at officials, no theatrics, no visible frustration carried into the next possession. She got back on offense and kept playing. And that restraint is going to matter a lot by the time we get to the end of this game, because what came next from her was a full team demolition dressed up as a nail-biter. Before we get further into Clark, let's set the table, because Atlanta came into this one for real. The Dream walked into State Farm Arena sitting at 21-13, fighting Indiana for playoff seeding, and they played like it. Atlanta leaned into size, length, and contact all night, and for stretches of this game, it worked. Atlanta actually closed the first half on a strong run to grab a 44-40 lead, and by the third quarter they'd stretched it out to an 8-point cushion, 72-64, on the back of a huge third-quarter output. And the story of Atlanta's night wasn't really about Reese offensively, it was about Alisha Gray. Gray was the best player on the floor for long stretches of this game. She finished with a game-high, career-high 32 points, adding 7 rebounds and 5 assists, and for a big chunk of the fourth quarter, she was single-handedly keeping Atlanta's chances alive. If you only followed the headlines about Clark and Reese, you might have missed that Gray was the one doing the heaviest lifting for the Dream all night. She deserves real credit for that performance, even in a loss. But basketball games are decided in stretches, and Indiana's fourth quarter was the stretch that changed everything. Hashtag the fourth quarter flip. Down big for most of the second and third quarters, Fever head coach Stephanie White made an adjustment, throwing a zone look at Atlanta that completely disrupted their rhythm. The Dream, who'd been getting whatever they wanted offensively, were held to just 9 points in the fourth quarter while Indiana poured in 17, clawing all the way back to tie the game. And then regulation gave everybody one more gut punch before it would let go. With just seconds left and the score knotted at 81, Atlanta had 3 separate chances to win it outright. Ryan Howard fired up a 3 that missed. Angel Reese crashed the offensive glass, grabbed the rebound with a wide-open look at the rim, and missed the layup. Nas Hillman crashed in behind her for the putback attempt. That missed too. Cameras caught Caitlin Clark's reaction in real time, a smile, clearly amused, as the building exhaled into overtime. That moment, Clark visibly cracking up while Reese stood under a basket that had just refused to give her a game winner, became one of the most replayed clips from the entire night. Some outlets framed it as Clark mocking Reese, others noted it reads just as easily as pure relief after a missed defensive assignment nearly cost her team the game. Either way, it became an instant flashpoint in a rivalry that's had no shortage of them. If the neck no call was the controversy of the night, and Clark's laugh was the meme of the night, then overtime belonged to somebody almost nobody outside Indiana was talking about coming into this game, Makayla Timpson. Timpson dropped a career-high 20 points, adding 7 rebounds, and she was the engine of Indiana's overtime surge, scoring 3 straight baskets in the extra period to put the Fever up by 6, a lead they wouldn't give back. For a player who'd been fighting for consistent minutes for much of the year, this was the kind of performance that changes how a coaching staff sees you. Indiana has been noticeably better with her on the floor down the stretch of games, and this was the loudest possible proof of that. Kelsey Mitchell backed her up with a huge basket of her own, a layup late in overtime that pushed Indiana's lead out and helped seal the win. Mitchell finished with 20 points on the night, and here's the number that actually deserves its own headline. This was her 19th straight game scoring 20 or more points, extending her own WNBA single-season record even further. 19 games. That's not a hot streak, that's a guard who has simply refused to have an off night for over 2 months of basketball. And then there was Aaliyah Boston, quietly doing damage the whole night, finishing with an 18-point, 14-rebound double-double, controlling the paint on both ends and clearing space underneath for everything Indiana wanted to run through the middle. Add it up, Clark's 26 and 9, Mitchell's 20 and a record-extending streak, Timpson's career night, Boston's double-double, that's 4 different Indiana players doing 4 different jobs, and it's exactly why Atlanta couldn't just load everything up on Clark and call it a game plan. You stop one of these players, 3 more are still standing there. Clark closed the door herself at the free throw line, hitting 2 clutch makes late in overtime, and then, in the game's final seconds, grabbed the last rebound and, rather than risk anything, just lobbed the ball the length of the court to run out the clock. "I've had that in the bag for a while," she joked afterward. "Just chuck it down the court." Final score, Fever 95, Dream 91. Now here's the part that's been getting attention since the final buzzer, and it's a little more nuanced than some headlines are letting on. Angel Reese didn't have a bad night statistically. She finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists, another double-double in a season full of them. But she missed the shot that could have won the game outright in regulation, and that miss, replayed next to Clark's laugh, is the image that dominated the conversation after the game. It's worth saying plainly, missing a contested layup with the game on the line happens to great players constantly. It's basketball. But combined with the neck no call earlier in the game going unpunished, and now this moment going viral in the opposite direction, it made for a rough news cycle for Atlanta star, even in a game where her raw numbers were solid. Reese didn't dodge questions about it. Speaking to ESPN's Holly Rowe at halftime and after the game, she didn't make excuses for how the game was going, which is worth acknowledging, because taking accountability after a tough sequence isn't nothing. Strip away the viral clips for a second, because this game mattered in the standings, and it mattered a lot. Indiana moves to 23-12 on the season, now a game and a half clear of Atlanta for the fourth seed in a crowded playoff picture. This was also the fourth and final regular season meeting between these two teams, and with the win, Indiana evens the season series at 2 games apiece, meaning Atlanta can't even lean on a tiebreaker if these two end up crossing paths again in the postseason. Indiana controls its own path to a top 4 finish from here. It's also worth putting this result in context of Indiana's schedule, because this wasn't a one-off. It's the first game of a 5-game road trip in 8 days, Toronto next, then Dallas, then New York, then Chicago. Winning ugly, gritty, overtime road games like this one, against a team fighting just as hard for playoff position, is exactly the kind of resume-building win a team needs if it wants to be taken seriously in the postseason. And this game didn't just matter for the standings, it mattered for the league. This matchup drew an average of 2.6 million viewers on ESPN, peaking at 4 million, making it the most-watched regular season WNBA game in cable television history. Whatever you think about the officiating, the theatrics, or the rivalry storylines, the numbers don't lie. People are watching this league, and this specific matchup, in numbers nobody would have predicted a few years ago. So here's the question worth sitting with. Caitlin Clark just turned in another 26-9 night, absorbed a no-call to the neck without a single complaint on the floor, and helped close out a road win against a legitimate playoff team, all while her supporting cast, particularly Kelsey Mitchell's absurd 20-point streak and Makayla Timpson's breakout night, carried real weight alongside her. Is that an MVP-caliber performance in isolation? Maybe not on its own. But stacked on top of a season's worth of these nights, it's part of a much bigger case that's building whether the conversation is loud about it or not. Who do you think should be MVP this season, Clark, Gray, someone else entirely putting up numbers we haven't even talked about yet? Drop your pick in the comments, because this debate is only going to get louder as the playoffs get closer. And if you want to be here for every twist in this rivalry, this season, and this playoff race, subscribe now, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.